Today I'm going to give you the secret on how to lose weight. And it's going to save you a lot of money as well. There's nothing better than good health. So up until the age of 40, I didn't have to worry about weight problems. I used to eat a lot of sweets every day, huge amount of sweets. And I would have a huge meal. And afterwards I would feel bloated, as one does. And I'd think to myself, oh, never again. But of course, the next day I would eat another huge meal and feel bloated again. But the funny thing was, 2 hours after eating that meal, I would be back to normal. It's all gone. And I'd feel like normal. So when I got to 40, things changed. I started putting on weight. I didn't notice it until I was 41. I went from a size 32 waist, which I was all my adult life. I went from size 32 waist to 34 in 1 year. And even then I didn't really think about it. And then the second year, by the time I was 42, I went up to a 36 waist and I realised I had a problem. So I cut my food intake in half. But I could never get back to a 32 waist, which was 11 stone in weight. And then, I think it was about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. 2 years ago. My dentist said there's not much you can do with my teeth anymore. I've just been eating too many sweets over the years. And that's when I realised I had to give up sweets. I had to give up sugar. All my life I've been eating sugar. My mother, when I was a baby, I had no teeth, and my mother used to chew the toffee. I remember her chewing the toffee and then taking it from her mouth and putting it in my mouth to gum it to death, this toffee. So I was addicted from birth, almost. And now I was faced with the prospect of having to give up sugar for the rest of my life. Not a happy moment. But I did, because for me, health is everything. And I stopped eating all sugar. I mean, sugar's in baked beans, it's in all these foods. You find tin foods, etc. For instance, a jar of pickles, it says sweet pickles these days. Sweet pickles. That's because they add sugar. They don't need to add sugar. The acid from the vinegar keeps the pickles from going off, keeps the onions from going off. No, it's all about making people addicted to the food that they're eating. They're not really addicted to the food, it's the sugar, what's in the food, that they get addicted to. And this was found out, I think, by a scientist in 1955, I forget his name. But then he realised there's a certain amount of sugar you put into any type of food, and once it gets to that, he called it the sweet spot, I do believe. And that's the addictive spot, basically. The addictive amount of sugar you need in any food. And that's what everyone's been doing ever since. Have you noticed that fat people get fatter and fatter, and yet they're getting all these foods which say less fat? Isn't it? Less fat or no fat, and yet they get fatter and fatter. And they haven't got the brains to realise that eating fat doesn't make them fat. I remember when I was a meat eater, I'm a vegetarian these days, when I used to eat meat, I used to eat all the fat. You don't want your fat? I eat that. I used to eat it all, and I stay slim. So it was nothing to do with fat. I knew that. But because I was eating sweets all my life, I didn't realise when I hit 40 that my body couldn't handle sugar anymore and started to put on weight. Well, as I said, roughly 2 years ago, I went on a diet where there was no sugar at all. And I lost 16 kilo. In fact, I might have been over 16 kilos. 16 and a half kilo, I think I was. I lost 16 and a half kilo in 2 months. I was 86 and a half kilo. and I went down to 70 kilo in 2 months because I gave up all sugar. Oh, it was terrible, really terrible. Not being able to eat cake. I mean, I used to get one of those cakes for about £2 and eat the whole lot in a day. And then I would have a bag of sweets as well, and maybe a bar of chocolate and something else, and then I would have chewing gum in between. So my mouth was always doing something with sugar, always. And to go from that to nothing, it's difficult. But I guess it's because of my ego. I've got this ego which says you can't let your body fall apart. So that's the secret. Give up all sugar. Now, I gave up all sugar for, I don't know, a year and a half or more. I didn't eat any. And it was a hardship because I like a slice of cake with my tea or some biscuits with my tea. I'm a tea drinker, as you probably realise now. So then I realised, okay, maybe I can just have a cake here and a slice of cake there and some biscuits here, maybe 2 slices of cake a week and some biscuits. Well, before I knew it, I was back into scoffing these cakes and eating the whole cake. So then I went up to, very quickly, within a week I think, I went up to from 11 stone, which is 70 kilo roughly, I went up to 75 kilo, which is 12 stone. Now, let's really understand what we're talking about here. You know, a pound of sugar, you get a pound of sugar, it's quite heavy. But then you can get the £2 bag of sugars that I used to buy. Well, 1 stone equals 8 of those £2 sugars. And do as I did. Go into a shop and pick up 8 of those bags of sugar and hold them. And you'll see how heavy and how big the mass is. And it's shocking to think that is on your body just with 1 stone overweight. Yeah, I did it. I was shocked. So now what happens, instead of fluctuating between 11 stone and 12 stone because I can binge every so often, I really have to take control of myself and just have 2 slices of cake a week and maybe a bar of chocolate. And maybe, I don't know yet, push it to a bag of Mintos or something. But at the moment, I haven't eaten for 2 days. I've decided to not eat at all until I get this stone off, this 1 stone, this 8 bags of £2 of sugar. You've got to, this is the secret of it, of course, you've got to have control over yourself. You've got to be able to control your eating habits. It's no good sitting back and saying, oh, what's wrong with me? I can't do it. You can't. And I think one of the secrets is to control. You don't try to fight. It's not a fight. You're not going into a war. If you do that, if you go into it mentally thinking you're going to fight against this, you're going to lose the battle. No, it's really a calm decision that you make, and you say to yourself, I'm just not going to eat for a week. So I'm on my 3rd day today. I won't be eating anything today. And let's see what happens. I think in 7 days of not eating, I will get this down. It's okay not to eat for 7 days. Not like those religious people I've heard about. They say they're fasting, but they're not really fasting. They're having 1 meal a day. In the evening, they eat a meal. That's not fasting. Fasting is going without food for a whole day or more. Go for a whole day, go for 3 days. Let's see you lot go for 3 days. I bet you can't. You can't even go for 1 day without food. Don't tell lies and say you're fasting when you're not. You're just having 1 meal a day. I used to do that all the time when I was a roller skater. So there we are. No sugar. Eat as much fat as you want. But there again, who wants to eat fat? It's disgusting, all the poisons they put in meat today. And just think, that meat once was a living creature who didn't want to die. Be a vegetarian like me and become healthy. I am bloody healthy. Even my doctor said I'm healthy. He said, you're the healthiest person I know of your age, 70. If you want to know more, read the book. When I say don't eat sugar, I mean man-made sugars. You know, the white stuff and the brown stuff that comes from sugar cane. And also that includes the syrup that comes from sugar cane or from sugar. But you can eat honey as much as you want. And there's other types of sweeteners you can use. But don't use those little sweeteners that you get in a little plastic thing, you know, just a little thing and you just pop it. Don't touch that. But all the other natural sugars, yeah, fine. You will not put on any weight, believe you me. I have honey all the time with my tea. And I put it on bread. And I put it on, what else do I put it on? Oh yeah, flapjacks, pancakes. I put it on pancakes. Before I used to always use sugar. I never bothered about honey.